Get an update on the markets looking at the GSE Composite Index, so that 1,931 points. The market there, 0.6% to the good. Looking at those financial stocks, the financial index, so 1,675 points, slightly above that, up 0.8%. And of course, if we're looking at that index, it's up 60%, almost 60% year to date, while the overall composite index for the Ghanaian market is up just over 60%. So it certainly has been powering ahead. On the currency front, the CEDI trading at 2.08 against the US dollar. That's a flat performance there on the day. Well, let's get into the markets now. David Tete, head of Cull Brokers, is joining us from Ghana. Thanks for joining us today, David. Let's get into the earnings we've seen coming through from the banking sector. SCB reporting profit up after tax up almost 40%. The top line there growing 93.5%. So what happened on the bottom line so we didn't see that feed through coming through to the bottom line?
Well, yes, generally the banks are performing quite well, SCB being no exception. We've seen top line growth of 111%, mainly coming from the growth in their loan book. Of course, government securities have also returned quite a significant amount of interest to banks, currently at 23%, and we saw the growth in government security investments on Standard books as well, all filtering down to their bottom line growth of 44%.
Mm-hmm. That, as you say, is, the exception there. But we had Cull Bank reporting their earnings, and ultimately, we saw earnings per share growth of 121%, just over that. Profit before tax up 122.2%. Top, total income up 96%. I can go through the list, and it certainly looks fantastic. But what stands out for you when it comes to the overall earnings of the group?
Yes, Cull Bank group performance was also quite solid. Group-wise, I think it was 122% for the group. So the subsidiaries, which is asset management brokerage, also contributing significantly to the returns of the group. Some of the other banking stocks as well, HFC and the other general banking stocks results we've seen so far have been good, generally leading to the returns the growth in returns we're seeing on the market last week and this week as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a specific stock in the sector right now that you see as geared for outperformance?
Well, yes, the top pick there is definitely Cull Bank. HFC is also showing up quite strongly on analyst picks this week. So those two would be the top two banking picks in the sector right now. Mm-hmm. We're still waiting to see what Ghana Commercial Bank puts in terms of its earnings, but we are also expecting a good performance from them as well.
Let's look at the bond markets and I suppose foreign bonds, because Ghana is set to raise $1 billion from the international capital markets, and we saw that oversubscribed at $1.2 billion. So that's the second time it's gone to the international market. The first time was for $750 million. Stamp of approval. I mean, what's your response to the fact that we saw the numbers, oversubscription coming in there at $1.2 billion?
Yes, generally good for the market, but of course the general commentary is that we think we paid a bit of a premium for it, given the challenges we have in the local economy. The 750 is currently trading at a yield of 6%, so paying 8% was considered quite a premium for it. But of course, in terms of the expectations on the effect on the local bond market, we think it is good. Part of that money is going to pay off part of the public debt. So generally, the local bond markets will be buoyed, by the success of the Eurobond issue. Yeah,
and then just throwing forward to next week, we've got the MPC meeting, which starts on Monday. 2 days later, we'll know the outcome of that. The last meeting we saw, the MPC increased the policy rate to 16% by 100 bips. We know that inflation certainly is an issue that they're having to focus on right now, with inflation sitting at this new 3-year high of 11.4%. So does that mean that another rate cut is on the cards? I mean, what is the expectation from your side?
Well, following from the success of the Eurobond issue and the money we expect to flow into the economy when it settles on August 7th, we generally think that the MPC is likely to just maintain the rates as they are right now, given the inflow of the 750 million. Local banks and others are expecting to be paid their debts. Local contractors are expected to be paid their debts. So the liquidity that will flow into the system may lessen the pressure on interest rates going up. So we generally think the MPC is likely to maintain the rates next week.